Hey guys, and welcome back to Morgs Menu. So today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a delicious stuffed garlic knots recipe. I discovered this a couple of months ago now and made them, and they are absolutely amazing, and I just had to share. It's a very simple recipe, not many ingredients that you need, really nothing that you even have to do homemade, but it's just a really good recipe for if you want to add a nice appetizer to your meal, if you're having family over, or if you have to bring an appetizer to a party. These would be super easy to prepare, and all you'd have to do is just heat them up or bake them when you get there, and they're just so good and just slightly different from your typical garlic knot that you'd expect from a restaurant. So if you're interested in seeing how I put all that together, keep on watching. Alright, so nothing new here. We're going to go through all of the ingredients that we're going to need for this recipe, and I'll then show you step by step how to throw everything together. Alright, so the main thing we're really going to need is just to start with some canned pizza dough. I have this Pillsbury, just the classic crust, pizza crust that you get kind of near where your canned biscuits and stuff are, normally in like your butter egg section of the grocery store. This is the only brand that I've used before, but I'm sure you could use an off-brand or some other type of brand, just something similar in size and ingredients as this Pillsbury pizza crust. To go along with the crust, you're also going to want just a little bit of flour. We're not actually putting this in here, but we are going to roll the pizza crust out, and I did find it was easier to keep everything from sticking if we put a little flour down. Now, the one ingredient in this that was a little bit unexpected, that I was a little unsure about but ended up making the dish, is mayonnaise. Now, you can use whatever mayo you like. I know everyone has their own preferences on mayonnaise, but really the mayo is just kind of going to give a nice creamy texture to the inside, and it's going to be delicious. So whatever you have will work. And the rest of the ingredients are pretty expected. So you're going to want some minced garlic, as well as some shredded mozzarella, or Parmesan would work as well. You're also going to want about 2 eggs for the egg wash on top. And then the last couple things are some spices. So this is where I differ slightly from the original recipe, which I'll have linked down below, so you're welcome to check that out if you want to see it there. But I like to add a couple extra spices, so I have oregano and red pepper flakes, garlic powder, garlic salt, and then you can either use regular salt, or I'm going to use my Lowry seasoned salt because that's my favorite. And then the last thing is just going to be an optional dipping sauce. So I just have some kind of marinara pasta sauce here. We're only really going to use a little bit of it. You can dip it in kind of whatever sauce you typically like to dip garlic knots in. Or you can honestly eat these without it because they really don't need it. And that's it. Now all we have to do is combine all the ingredients together, make them into knots, and bake them in the oven. So I went ahead and preheated my oven to 400 degrees. And now let's go ahead and bring you in closer, and I'll show you exactly how to pull everything together. First thing we want to go ahead and do is get the stuffing together. So we're going to take about 3/4 cups to a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, or you can use any type of kind of pizza blend cheese that you like. 2 tablespoons of your preferred mayonnaise, 1.5 or 2 big rounded scoops of garlic, because you can never have too much garlic. And then about 1/2 teaspoon of chili flakes. You can add more or less depending on how you want these to be. 1/2 teaspoon adds just a little tiny kick to it, nothing too dramatic. And then the last 2 things I'm going to add into this filling is just a little bit of extra seasoning. So I like to add a little garlic powder and oregano. Add anything you want at this point, or remove anything you don't like. So now we're going to work with our dough. So we're going to start by going ahead and putting a little flour down on whatever surface you're going to work with, and then just lay the dough out in an even layer. You want it to be about 12 by 8, which is basically how it comes out in the can. Just kind of stretch it out and make sure it's nice and even all across. Now we're going to go ahead and cut it. So you're going to start by cutting it in half, kind of in the hamburger fold section. Then going on the opposite direction, we're going to cut that into 6 pieces on each side, so you end up with 12 4-inch strips kind of cut across, so they'll be long and thin strips. We're then going to divvy out the filling mixture, about 1 tablespoon each, just kind of evenly amongst the 12 strips. And you want to make sure you leave room around the edges so that you can seal the strips. Once you've got your filling all spread out evenly amongst your 12 pieces, we're going to wrap the dough around the stuffing and seal by pinching it together firmly with your fingers into a cylinder. So this one I'm doing a little bit slower just so you can see exactly how you want to just kind of squeeze all around the edges just to make sure all of the filling stays inside and doesn't come all out when you bake it. Once everything's formed, you're then going to take the cylinder that you've created with the filling inside and tie it into a knot. You're going to make sure the ends stick out just a little bit so it looks like a nice knot shape. But again, this is kind of just for presentation, so if one or two of them aren't perfect, don't worry about it. Repeat that knot motion until all 12 are arranged, and then line them on a parchment lined baking sheet. Once you've arranged all of your knots on your baking sheet, we're then going to whisk together 2 eggs in a bowl with a little bit of water and regular salt or seasoned salt. Whisk that to combine all of the ingredients, and then take a nice cooking brush and brush the garlic knots with the egg wash. Once you've evenly coated the wash all across all of the knots, we're going to then sprinkle them with garlic salt and bake until golden brown. Once you've sprinkled everything with your garlic salt, go ahead and bake it in the oven for about 12 to 14 minutes until they get nice and golden brown, and then I'll show you how they come out at the end. Alright, here's our final product. They look delicious, so I have this on a plate here with our marinara. I'm just going to open it up so you guys can see what it looks like on the inside. It's just like this ooey gooey, cheesy, delicious. I'm telling you, these are so good. As always, all the details of the steps and ingredients that I use in this video will be down in the description box, as well as the original recipe if you want to check either of those out. But as always, if you have any questions on what I did or anything on the recipe, feel free to leave those in comments down below. If you're new to my channel, make sure you follow me on Instagram for new content throughout the week, as well as any channel updates, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the videos that I post on Wednesdays and Sundays. Thanks again for watching Morgs Menu, and have a great day. Bye guys.